Hey, good morning, everyone. Sarasota Tim coming to you from Boynton Beach, Florida. Driving my 4Runner southbound on Federal Highway here, going to Delray Beach. Going to go over and visit the granddaughters. Miss Tammy already went over there in the Civic, and I'm driving the 4Runner because the granddaughters absolutely love washing the cars with me. And it's not really so much washing the car as it is squirting me with a hose and creating havoc. But they're cute little girls, so they're excited about the car wash we're gonna have. I'll probably put a video together showing the two together there, the two girls and the two cars and everything like that. So Miss Tammy and I went over to Sarasota 2 days ago. We got back yesterday. You know, my mind doesn't work right. But anyway, it was about 11:30 at night when we got back. And we visited some good friends of ours that we used to live right next door to that are technology challenged. I always helped them out with getting their smart TV working and their billing. And then, of course, with the phones, we all got Visible Wireless. I got them on that. I'd set them up on the Party Pay, of which Visible is getting rid of now, for a better plan. And I made a video about it. I'll probably make another one. But anyway, the husband, his name is Fred. His phone got washed accidentally in the washing machine, and it was an Android. So he's going to be an iPhone person now. Visible had a iPhone 11 for about $280 used, pre-owned. You know, they check them out. People, can trade in and upgrade and get the newer ones. And after coming from an Android, and he wasn't even really familiar with all the things that phone did, this will be a new learning curve for Fred. But I think the iPhone is a lot more intuitive than an Android. So once he knows how to turn it on, I don't think he texts anything. He's pretty much just a call guy. And he has a laptop that he bought just a few months ago. So when he needs to search for things online, I think that's his go-to device. So, but everybody has to have a phone in case of emergency, make phone calls. So he's going to have an iPhone 11. But when we were there, the main reason we went there was his wife's birthday. And her name is Raffaella, and she's a fantastic cook. She's an Italian, and she made spaghetti bolognese for us. And she puts out the whole thing on the table, all the nice dishes, and she has all these cool things. So after I had to go round and round with Visible, and I'm not disparaging them, but it was an issue. What happened was Mr. Fred forgot his password, and to reset the password, kind of got into an ordeal. And then he changed his email address from what he had when he started out with Visible, and he couldn't remember the password to that, and that just took a little time. So we had to go on chat, and that's how you communicate with Visible Wireless. There is no live customer service. It's live, but it's through chat. And they were extremely helpful, and we got it done. Took a while, but we got it done. And then after dinner, we had to drive back here to Boynton Beach. And when you cross the state, you take the 70 out of Bradenton, Sarasota, into Okeechobee, and then you get on the 710, and that comes all the way down to Indiantown and back over to the West Palm Beach area on I-95 to my north, about 15 miles. So it's about a 3.5-hour drive, and it's not a problem. It's a 2-lane, but at night it's a problem because there's deer. And if anybody out there watching me right now lives in deer country, and you know about the hazard of hitting them, especially on a little 2-lane road. So I'm driving along. We didn't leave until dark. And I wasn't too far over on the 70, and there was my first doe I saw right on the shoulder grazing. And I was nervous then. So the whole way home, I slowed my speed down, which took longer. And, I didn't really have a car I could follow. 2 cars went around me 100 miles an hour and then just left us. And I wasn't going to chase after them. To be kind of close. I figured some safety there behind another car. But the whole time home, I was scanning the shoulder on my right. Now, that doesn't mean there's not deer on the left, and I was really impressed with the high beam LED lights that Miss Tammy has on that Civic. I mean, it lit up the world. It was nice. Plus, I've made a video. She has that self-driving mode where you push this button on the steering wheel and it keeps it in the lane. Not like what you just heard, my beeper warning me that I was approaching the white line. I didn't have my signal on, so it's letting me know I'm veering out of the lane. This has that too, but it literally drives the car. I mean, you can go around pretty much hairpin turns and that car will steer right through. It's really amazing. So the advantage of having that was when I had cars coming at me on the 70, their headlights all look like they're on high beam because the Civic sits very low. So you have to look away and look at the, I was taught driving in driving school years ago, when cars approach you, this may help you guys, instead of looking at the light, is to look down to your right at the white line on your lane so you don't, go off of it, and just kind of drive on that. Your peripheral will still, let you drive straight, but rather than just looking ahead, you get that white line fever or the high beams, whatever. Don't look at the headlights. So, and then the steering thing kept me from, veering into them or going over here either. So I had that. But that car is so low that when you're driving, literally every car coming at you looks like they're on high beam because you're sitting like on the ground. That's a bad thing about that car. Not good. And what else? So we got home safely, thank God, about 11:30, and I was ready to have a cocktail then. And I did. So we're back, and it was nice seeing Fred and Rafaela. She sent us home with some good desserts, homemade desserts she made, and we were totally full when we left, for sure. Sent us home with some of that bolognese as well. So now I'm almost to Delray Beach here at Linton Boulevard. I'm going to get off, and we're going to get the car washes going. It's only 9:45 a.m. I think we got a high temperature of about 84 today here in South Florida. And everybody's here. And I need to make a video. I keep trying to make a video about what's better, East Coast or West Coast. I've had a few comments on my videos asking me to compare, since I've lived on both sides, which is better. But every time I make the video, I end up going on a tangent and getting a little nuts. I'll just say this: the West Coast and the East Coast are better in their own way. But I grew up here. I was class of 77. I went to Lake Worth High School. I have lived in other states growing up. I mean, I'm going to be 65 years old on my next birthday. So I've left the state of Florida a couple times. I lived a decade in San Diego, a decade in Atlanta, and I lived a decade over in Sarasota. And then I've come back and forth intermittently during those times too. What I can say is the world has changed, and we all know this. Everywhere. I'm sure you can echo the same sentiment where you live, that when I grew up here, people were called snowbirds that came down in the summer. I mean, you could drive in the middle of the night with your lights off. You wouldn't hit anybody. There was nobody here. They all left. But now, people live here year-round, and then also they come, not just from the north, but worldwide, and then people have moved here because of the pandemic. low taxes, and people made a lot of money in New York and everything on their properties. So I know that Florida and Texas are exploding in population. And South Florida specifically is off the chain. It's too many people here. It's frustrating because any restaurant, every street you drive on, every store you want to go in, every public supermarket, it's crowded, and the people are from areas where they move a lot faster. They do not have any patience. They do not have any respect for other people driving. They do not stop at stops. If you move here or you come here, take this warning. Believe me, if you're at a red light and your light goes green, don't just gas it. Everyone here runs red lights. No one stops for red lights, and they blow through every stop sign. You know, it's an old saying I heard in church one time that in Atlanta, the preacher said, everybody in Atlanta is really nice till they get behind the wheel of their car. And it's the same here. And it's probably the same where you live too. The driving today is stupid. So that sucks. It really does. It's a terrible thing here because there's so many people, everybody thinks that they deserve to be in front of you and they don't have to obey the traffic jam. So that's number one. And I think it's becoming the same way in Sarasota because that's the number one move to place in the entire United States of America. That's the number one move to city 4 years in a row now. Specifically Lakewood Ranch, where I used to live. A master plan community. Everybody's moving there. And where it used to be Midwestern people like from Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, those places went there. And because I-95 is over here, it funneled everybody from New York, New Jersey, New Hampshire, one of them new places, right on down here. Well, they don't want to be up there anymore. The cost of living and inflation, so they just came here because they've always been coming here. And now they're here, and it doesn't feel or taste like Florida anymore. Like I said, everything's changed here, and not really for the good. It's just that, you know, there's too many different people of different cultures that make it a little like not so cool. Where over on the West Coast, completely different. But, you know, you got a lot more people moving over there. But I think the East Coast, being closer to the Caribbean islands and stuff, they just come over here, and this is where they stay. So I'm at the Delray house. I vented. I told you guys what I think. Don't move here. You'll hate it. And I'm going to turn the video around and show you driving in here, and we'll get you going. Yeah, so I had to end the video there abruptly because the guard there, I had to say hi. They know me. And if you're a stranger, you got to check in. So this is the, oh, wow, that's all messed up, isn't it? Oh, that ain't no good. How did that happen? Let me just go like, why are you looking at the IATI? So this is where you come in. I think there's about 45 houses in this big circle. It's about a mile around the circle here in Delray, where Tammy's daughter lives and her husband and our granddaughters. It used to be an oak grove. And all the houses, you know, they keep getting remodeled. This one right over here they were working on that thing for 2 years, it seemed like. They still got a project going on. It's got a new roof. But they're very, very wealthy people. And it's kind of one of those places that, you know, they want you to keep your mailbox painted correctly and your house color has to be approved. It's, you know, it's a big cliquey thing, but it's a nice place. And then let's see, what can I tell you? There was a famous football player that lived in here. He's on the other side. We won't go by his place. This place right here, we just passed. They just remodeled that. They own a very successful farmers market area here that just stays busy. I mean, just stays busy. We got a house right here where that truck is. We know those people. They got a little girl that plays with my granddaughter. And then, oh, I see a van there at the house. This is where we're going straight ahead. That's the Del Rey house where my granddaughters live. I think everything in here soared up like millions. All the leaves on the ground. So here we go. I don't know what that guy's doing here. He's an AC guy or a pool guy, or they got somebody here every day. There's Miss Tammy's Civic. I'm going to pull it on through here. Oh, there goes Miss Crystal in her Escalade. She's just now leaving. Get out of her way. And why don't you get out there today and crush it?